Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some kind of crazy in-corporate leaks going on over here, where if any of you guys have ever been in the big corporate structure, sometimes you have like a kind of a weekly or monthly or yearly recap when it comes to everything that happens with your systems, with your consoles, with more so maybe your company. But this is specifically in regards to the PlayStation 5, where the big head honcho himself, Jim Ryan, went out and has now basically said that Xbox is not even basically a competitor at this day and age. Now, it's a little bit more than that, obviously, we'll get to in a second, but we actually had some pretty big, apparently, leaks coming out from employees discussing what the head honcho of PlayStation thinks about his big competitor on Game Pass, more so namely on Xbox Game Pass, and, well, just a lot more kind of somewhat surprising comments if these are all actually kind of true. Now, granted, these are a leak, and leaks sometimes, unless they have, like, proper audio or proper, like, visual recordings, can sometimes maybe also be a bit of a stretch, but also there's kind of a lot of people who don't mind leaking this stuff because sometimes you're like, wait, did he really just go and say that at the end of the day? So we're going to talk about this, talk about the statements that Jim Ryan apparently made, and as well, just kind of go and kind of feel the fire of the Xbox versus PlayStation, because even better, let me know which one you guys got for the holidays itself. I know a lot of my folks have been still looking for PlayStations, so let me know you guys got the good down below. And as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation game. We actually announced that earlier on the earlier video before, so check that out. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We also have the Amazon links and Target links and all that as well down below, and let's dive into the video. So as I mentioned, we've been apparently now seeing some big leaks where Sony, now for some odd reason, does not care and does not see Xbox Game Pass as even competition with their PlayStation 5 console, and mainly as well with their PS Plus subscription service. Now, this is probably one of the more crazy things to kind of read, because I think the one biggest selling point of the Xbox itself is literally Game Pass. And that's like the one big caveat when they're apparently they must hopefully see it as competition if they're still wasting all this time, money, and effort into courts to try to block this Activision acquisition, because it would probably end up going on Game Pass, same with some other games, maybe like Overwatch, etc. And well, it's kind of crazy because apparently from Jim Ryan's mouth himself, Xbox Game Pass is not a competition with Sony. So a new rumor suggests that Sony doesn't even view the Xbox Game Pass as competition, and also hints at its total number of monthly subscribers for on both ends, on the PS Plus and Xbox itself. So a new report and leak basically suggests that Sony does not even view Xbox Game Pass as competition. Xbox Game Pass officially launched in 2017, and while it has massively grown in popularity since its inception, now, Microsoft continues to add exciting AAA and indie games to the Xbox Game Pass library, with some of them being available on literally day one, as I'm sure you guys know. And that's why I think it's such a big deal, because if you have a game like Call of Duty, which is PlayStation's #1 seller, you would think it'd be a maybe smidgen at least bit of competition if they can somehow get it for like $1 for the month and then just make a new email for next year. Or as well, if they somehow can get it for $10, $15, and they don't have to pay the full $70, yeah, that does seem like that might be something you should maybe go and worry about, let alone all the other games on the Activision catalog, or even getting like early access, early preview, or whatever, early betas when it comes on the Xbox platform if the deal goes through. But surprisingly, Sony's kind of cocky and they don't really care. So Xbox Game Pass offers first-party Microsoft games on day one to its subscribers, a stark contrast to the PlayStation charging $70 for its exclusives. Sony was also one of the first publishers to increase the price of the PS5 games by $10 from the previous standard of $60, while Xbox did actually go and follow suit. While some users think that Sony might feel pressured by the value offered by Xbox Game Pass, a new report now with these leaks shows that apparently PlayStation doesn't really see it as competition. So according to inside gaming sources, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO himself, Jim Ryan, held an employee Q&A earlier in December 2022. And like I said, it's kind of like an all-hands meeting, if you guys have ever been a part of those, where like just everyone's kind of talking, maybe asking like, hey, what do you guys think about the state of the company? What can we do better? What are your plans, maybe CEO, of what's going on? Like sometimes they got presentations, sometimes they got some food, and sometimes it's really awkward and you don't even really should be there, but it's sometimes better than doing normal work, depending on what's kind of going on. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit more interesting. So during this big employee Q&A, so don't forget, these are PlayStation Sony employees, so like they might bring up issues, or might bring up things, or might be like, hey, like, are we gonna, talk about consoles burning, like if there's like a weird issue, stuff like that. So basically, in regarding to someone going and seeing this, they asked a question about the Xbox Game Pass, and he basically is seeing it as not even competition. Jim Ryan reportedly claimed that the total number of subscribers is apparently seemingly to get lower on Xbox Game Pass. So it had like a huge spike up, maybe with the pandemic spike up or whatever it may be. But ever since then, this has been apparently true in terms of other leaks and people tracking, and even I think Xbox themselves, where the numbers actually have like kind of peaked already, and they're kind of going down from pandemic highs. And they might actually keep on falling more and more. Now, I'm in the same boat where I usually will just subscribe to Game Pass when like there's a new game out, and there's probably not gonna be anything really big for at least a while. I'll probably keep it barren, and I probably won't resubscribe, but whenever Starfield comes out, I probably will, and I might go and keep it for the new upcoming games, or just do like a 1 month on, 1 month off. But as of right now, this past year, we haven't seen any big Game Pass games, and High on Life actually may have bumped up the Game Pass subscribers because it was a cheaper version, and obviously the game itself was good. But I'd probably assume after this December, like big influx and like new people getting their consoles and such, probably after like, let's say February, I'm sure these numbers are going to drop down even more. Unless they had a really good holiday season. So with it being only around 60 million users, which was still a lot for a somewhat newer service, I think Xbox was expecting more, and that's kind of why they want to get these big deals. Jim Ryan also did go and state that the number of PlayStation Plus subscribers is actually just shy of 50 million by comparison. So as of right now, PlayStation is still around 2 times more, a little bit more than that, by subscribers. And the PS Plus, we can all probably confirm, is not as good of a service, although it has been running a little bit longer, and also has PS4 members as well tied on in. So it's kind of a weird thing to call, though, because right now PlayStation's trying to be more of like the underdog in his big Activision acquisition and being like, no, we got single-player games, but, if we lose this Call of Duty money or a Game Pass, like basically taking people away from our own systems, that was kind of a big argument. So if these leaks and rumors are true, which they could always be completely false, but usually there's some sort of, reason for these leaks coming out, as you guys go and see this, it kind of goes to show that, well, maybe they're kind of messing up, like, maybe they're getting a little bit like too ahead of the curve when it comes to how well their consoles are doing. The PlayStation is still the market leader #1, as well as also they have been doing better sales. It's been doing very well. But that's kind of a big thing of like, if you kind of get too complacent and you see Game Pass, and like, if I saw a rival company with 20 million users, I'd be thinking, how can I somehow go and convince those 20 million users to either stay on PlayStation, or for some reason they're not on PlayStation, come over to my platform. I'm not really a big fan of companies being like, nah, yeah, we're already #1 on the leading market. We don't have to do as much or have to innovate as much. And that might be maybe the potential downfall of Sony in the future, where they may actually go and do that. So fans should also note, though, that they did say this leaker has been like a reliable source. There's always that. Take it with a grain of salt when it comes to stuff. So also did go and mention, too, that in comparison to Ryan, like Jim Ryan himself, mentioned that Sony has sold more PS5s in 2 years than the total number of Xbox Game Pass members. So it's kind of a good point to note, but don't forget the Xbox also has sold like, I think over 20 million now at this point consoles. So it's not like they're fully out yet. Like, they're not done at this point. Like, they still have potential and options. So they go and say that the PlayStation 5 has shipped 25 million at least as of September. And at this point, I think the more closer number is more around maybe 28, maybe around 28.5 or 29, depending on how well the holiday season has done, which is a very, very good number. Don't get us wrong. But the one bigger struggle is that Xbox still has, like I said, pushed over 20 million console buys. And obviously not everyone's going to buy Game Pass, or not everyone's going to keep it forever. Because I'm sure there's people on PlayStation who don't have their pass in general too as well. So, while it is kind of cool because Sony has reportedly improved their stock, and that has been a lot more readily available, we've even seen on our channel itself, I'm sure you guys have seen, and that's good, like, Walmarts, Targets, Amazons, or whatever, have been doing well. They've had stock, it's doing good, but it doesn't necessarily mean that their competition with Xbox is gone. It doesn't mean that Xbox can't necessarily come back, and that's why I think this is kind of a weird call at this point, because PlayStation has been pulling the angle of, yeah, we're maybe bigger, but with Xbox buying Call of Duty and all these other games, they will be bigger 100%. And if they're trying to go be like, it's not even a competition, but they're going through all these court documents and trying to keep Call of Duty, it's kind of just a very contradictory statement. I can understand some people saying like, oh, we don't got to worry about it, obviously, because, well, you're the CEO, you want to make sure your employees are chill. But at a certain point, it's almost weird, because if this gets leaked, which it did, then it kind of goes to show that maybe Xbox has a better case of PlayStation being too big and they need to be taken down a peg or two. So I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. I think a lot of folks previously were saying around the 20 million mark, around the 18 to 19 million mark or so, which kind of is fine-tuned to what Jim Ryan may have said. So I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on this. And as well, Something Game Pass is good. They just need a few more games, and I'll probably bump up my subscription. No problem. As well, make sure you guys all have a happy holiday so far. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well for the brand new PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, or that's already... I'm so ingrained on that one. We've got another giveaway going up soon, so make sure you guys are subscribed for that. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, Target Amazon links down below, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the fairest place.